Hi, my name's Gilsenan. I'm Director of ICT, Data and Assessment at Firth Park Community Arts College. Just going to tell you a bit about the managed learning environment. We started preparation work for the MLE around about May 2010 with our e-learning consultant. We knew straight away that the first area we wanted to focus on was the administration area. We wanted to do that initially because we knew that we could reap the benefits of improving efficiency in those areas. So the first thing we did with regards to that was we designed the structure of the site. To do that, what we did is we looked at the large amount of files that were stored on our network drives. We realized we could group them into specific areas such as policies and procedures, forms and templates, publications, and other general areas which once created would make life easier to find them, and also to get rid of all the huge archive that we created over the many years. Once we'd done that, we were at a stage whereby we had the bare bones in place, and we knew that when we went live in the September of 2010, that we'd have something ready for teaching staff to engage with, and the administration team. We knew that once we introduced the MLE that we'd come across some issues and some difficulties, and that it would probably be a slow start. One of the biggest things was probably staff confidence. Staff confidence in using it as a new technology, if you like. And that was one of the reasons why we started off pretty small. I say small, but we created the whole administration area, and it was obvious that what we wanted to do was introduce the MLE as a phased approach, and this didn't overwhelm the staff, and it was a good way in order for them to get used to it as well. Having done fairly large, extensive research before we engaged with the managed learning environment, what we didn't want to happen was the MLE turn out to be just a repository for documents. Ofsted released a report in 2009 on the use of VLEs, virtual learning environments, and through their key findings, it was apparent that in general schools weren't using them effectively. In fact, they were just using them as a dumping ground for files. So what we were focusing on with our training with the staff was first and foremost getting them to see it as not just an area for files. That's one of the key benefits about this MLE, the LearnSheffield MLE, is that it's not just a place where you can go and put your documents, but it's also an integration of all your school systems. It's an integration of the management information system, SIMS in our case, the email system, the cashless catering system, and also the library system as well. To help staff on their journey into this, what we did is we used the first 2 days of term in September, which were 2 inset days, to train staff on the basics. And for those 2 days, we focused on accessing your email. We were quite lucky that we'd used Microsoft Outlook previous to the introduction of the MLE, so we did a short training session on Outlook Web Access, which is the online version of it. And then we also did a short training session on uploading personal documents to the MLE. So initially in that first month of September, we were at a stage whereby we had a structure for the MLE in place. We had the administration area with all the useful documents and common documents that staff needed to access, and all of the staff were in a position whereby they had access to email and their personal files, and this provided a good starting point for the growth of the MLE. One of the key things we had to do before we started on the MLE is sort out the large amount of files that we had on the school network. I'm sure every school can relate to this. We had 2 or 3 network drives, one for teaching staff and one for pupil and teachers to share. And over time we'd accrued an enormous amount of files. They weren't in any logical order. They were named wrong. We didn't even know what some of them were. So I would say about half a term before engagement with the e-learning consultant, we went through a massive housekeeping program with the files, and this involved archiving a lot of files onto external hard drive. It involved deleting a lot of files, renaming, and basically creating a structure for the school file system that we knew would be clear and efficient to all staff. And this is where the ideas of an admin area that would involve policies and procedures, forms and templates, publications, training resources came about. This was in conversation with the office manager who works with the admin team, and also with a variety of other departments around the school, who are non-teaching departments, such as the Gifted and Talent Coordinator, the Ethnic Minority Achievement Service, the Special Needs Department. These departments all had areas on the network drive that we wanted to include alongside the subjects, the teaching subjects as well. One of the more interesting areas of adopting an MLE is how you allow, or how you go about introducing a lot of the communication tools to pupils. There's a lot of assumptions that are made in schools that the minute you open up access to all these communication tools, that they'll be abused by pupils. We took quite a liberal approach in the sense that we introduced discussion forums, pupil email immediately, and one of the reasons why we did that was because we had total confidence, first of all, in our acceptable use policies and our e-safety policies that we'd written, but also because we didn't want to limit the use of this fantastic new technology to the majority of pupils because of the actions of a small minority of pupils. The way we treat it at the moment is that if any pupil abuses the use of the technology, they're dealt with in exactly the same way as they would be offline, if you like. So to give you an example, when we first introduced the student discussion boards, we had a few pupils who tested the boundaries of that, but after reminding them that when they do make a post onto a discussion board, their name appears with that, that soon went away. And the initial comments that could be classed as abusive that were put on there were dealt with quite quickly, and just followed the same behavioural process that we go through when we deal with that normally in a classroom or in a corridor. One of the other facilities that the MLE brings is the ability for any teaching staff to change and reset pupil passwords. Historically, we had two ICT technicians, and pupils were sent out of lessons down to the office in order to change and reset passwords. This obviously led to a number of students wandering the corridors, and the new facility allows teaching staff from any PC to change and reset passwords, and all we did for that was to provide quick guidance to all teaching staff on how to do that. It's a very simple process, and it works really effectively in the school, and it's also cut down the amount of pupils that now wander the corridors. One of the main parts of developing the MLE is obviously the teaching and learning side of things. Initially, like I said, once we got the structure for the administration side, and also setting up the communication tools for both pupils and staff, we wanted to focus on how we were going to develop the departments, the subjects. To do this, there's a number of options, and having visited a number of schools and spoke to many people, we chose a rather organic sort of liberal way of doing it. A number of schools have set times of the week whereby they would meet to develop the teaching and learning side of the MLE. They would also have a team in place who would make decisions on that. The way we wanted to use our MLE e-learning consultant was a bit different. I made a decision early on that given the work we'd done on the admin side of things, we really allowed the e-learning consultant to go off and spend most of their time with teachers, with other members of staff, non-teaching staff as well, who were just enthusiastic about developing on the MLE. Many schools choose specific teaching staff in departments and give them a title. They call them e-leaders, or they call them MLE representatives. But we didn't have that. We opened the development of the MLE up to everybody, and that's actually worked incredibly well, because we now have requests by a number of different staff for MLE development time with the e-learning consultant, and that's just because of the way that the MLE is now being promoted throughout the school by those who have now become interested in it. and the fact that we have no set number of people who develop the MLE. It's actually being promoted throughout the entire school, and pupils are actually asking their teachers to develop on the MLE because they're seeing it in various parts of the school. How we organised the meetings and the development sessions with the e-learning consultants was a very flexible way. We didn't have a set day whereby we would email the staff and say every Wednesday the e-learning consultant is available to do development sessions. Instead, what we decided to do was to offer sessions to every member of staff, more or less any day of the week, and on a needs basis. And by doing that, what we did is we created a meetings schedule, if you like, which happened on different days of the week. By doing this meant that teaching staff didn't lose or didn't need or require cover for lessons. It was flexible in the sense that they could fit it into their spare time, and also that they were having access to an e-learning consultant if they got stuck, if they managed to develop to a certain stage and required further support. Something else that one of the reasons why we did that was that we knew that the support that we were going to get from the Civica e-learning consultant wasn't forever. We knew that was for a set number of terms, so that by not restricting the development time of the MLE to a set number of staff, by opening it up to a range of other staff, we knew that when the e-learning consultant time ceased, that we'd have a number or a much larger range of people within the school that could carry the development of the MLE forward, and it was more likely to succeed. That we don't promote it as an ICT tool. The reason for that is that whenever you do promote anything as an ICT tool, it can be perceived that it's difficult to use, and we deliberately wanted to embed as quickly as we could the MLE into normal life in the school, and that has happened. It's given 24/7 access now to your personal files and to your emails and to a range of other administration and communication systems, which is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. It can, as we all know, it can take over your life. The fact that we can now all access emails and potentially check them on a Sunday afternoon can be a good thing, but can also be a bad thing. But apart from that, it's the 24/7 access for pupils has proved to be the greatest benefit, in the sense that we now have departments creating resources and revision materials and hosting them on the MLE for pupils to access at any time. So with regards to the extended classroom scenario, that's been the most benefit for us. We knew that there were other stakeholders involved in the MLE who wanted access. One of the largest group of people is obviously parents. What we did for that is we initially came up with a basic structure for the front page that included access to policies and procedures, common documents such as the prospectus and the school calendar, the access to the cashless catering system, so parents can check their pupils' spending on the catering system, and also a link to our school management information system, SIMS. This gives parents access to their own son or daughter's information with regards to attendance, progress, behaviour and achievements. You can also configure any part of that system. So for example, in the behaviour side of things, we wanted to turn off the comments. For the obvious reasons, the comments may involve other people's names or citations to abusive language that they've said. So we turned that off, so it just gives an indication of whether or not a behaviour incident has been logged. Another area is obviously governors. We created a site for governors to improve the administration side of things, so all documentation from meetings goes up there, agendas and minutes. And we're also creating specific groups of parents. For example, Firth Park School is the extended school, lead extended school in Sheffield. So we have a lot of adult classes and adult learners. So we're creating specific parts of the MLE for them as well, with learning resources. So the future of Firth Park MLE, well, we're only in the third term, and already it's developed way beyond our original expectations. Initially, because I was involved in the main development of it and the the design of the structure with our e-learning consultant, you can become quite protective of any new developments and want to keep an eye on anything that happens. But in actual fact, it's grown so well that we're now at a stage whereby it's difficult to keep up with new developments, and that's a good thing, because it's quite exciting to suddenly come across something that's happening on the MLE that you didn't know about. And it could be in any area. It could be an area of admin. It could be a department which isn't linked directly to teaching and learning, or it could be something that directly influences teaching and learning. The future from this point then is to carry on with the promotion, carry on inspiring a range of people throughout the school who have yet to influence the development of the MLE, and working with some of the key people around the school to promote that, and to also carry on the phased approach of giving parental access to the MLE. We provided parental access on a phased approach, so we use parents' evenings to hand out usernames and passwords, and that worked well for us. So it's quite an interesting time, and it's been an interesting year, and we look forward to seeing developments on the MLE in the future.